2025, you were burnt out. I know you were because I was there too. Feels like you can never get ahead making more money for other people rather than yourself. Is this actually freedom? You can work from anywhere at any time, but it's all the time. The more you scale, the more overhead you add, the more team members, the more problems, more chaos. What if I told you this completely new business model for 2026 that flips this on its head? Over the past few videos, we've fixed the chaos. We've got your CEO and your operator aligned. Your team knows how to build AI processes the right way. But now what? How do you actually scale without the burnout? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to take your expertise and bolt it into multiple businesses without having to do all the work yourself. No massive team, no crushing overhead, just you, your systems replicated across multiple clients. This is the business in a box model, and it's how you finally break free from trading time for money. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to map out your organizational chart, identify where you become an extension of other businesses, and let AI handle the execution while you make the money. But as always, before we get into it, I'm running a challenge for myself in the month of February to post 196 unique pieces of content across my social media using an AI system that I built. This is a challenge to prove that it's possible, to show how posting this much content could change the trajectory of your business. So to show your support, please like and subscribe and comment below so we can continue conversation. Plus, if you head over to my Instagram and direct message me 196, you'll be one of the first to get this system once the month is complete. Now, let's get into the fun stuff. If you haven't noticed, this week has been a lot of foundational videos, and I'm really excited about the rest of this month because this is where we're starting to get into a lot more tactical outputs. So stay tuned for the rest of the month, but let's jump into this one. I've got a story, personal story from years ago. One of my first businesses was in the e-commerce space. So not knowing about drop shipping, this is kind of before Amazon. I invented a product. It was a cell phone case, typical Canadian, where it had hockey laces on it. It was a really cool product. I didn't know about this whole drop shipping thing. I thought everybody kind of created their products. Got it made overseas, brought it in, started marketing it, and it did extremely well for myself. That being said, I was on a show called Dragon's Den. This is kind of the Canadian version of Shark Tank, if you've ever heard of it. And it was the pre-qualification to actually get on the show. I went in, pitched the product because this is, again, 10 plus years ago, and I didn't really know how to market. I didn't really know how to build businesses at the time. It was a really cool experience because, again, you're pitching to these investors, you're trying to get on the show, you're trying to build this business that you've worked so hard, something that I believe was a really good product, just like you've built and you started years ago as well. Years later, I was sitting there after watching Shark Tank, as I do, as a lot of people do itself, and for some reason I had an epiphany where it's like I'm watching from the wrong side of the floor. I always watch from the pitcher's perspective and not from the actual investor's perspective itself. So what I started doing is realizing these investors don't do the work. They have their system that they put people in and the businesses grow. So I started to map this stuff out myself. I started mapping out, it doesn't really matter the product or service, but who did I need for marketing? Who did I need for customer success? Who did I need for finance? Who did I need for sales? So I started mapping out a very broken down organizational chart. Who in my network are these people? And this was 4 years ago now, so really before AI started to pop off. In this, it's like, if I build this system, when new businesses come up, whether investing or building ourselves, I've got all the best people in my organizational chart that we can scale these as some sort of partnership. Again, looking from the investor point of view. That's when I reached out to my business partner, who is co-founder of Cloud37, Matt Farmer AI. If you don't know who he is, he's on social media. He's got 300,000+ followers where he reviews AI technologies. He was somebody that I knew who helped build grow my first software company, which I've talked about in previous videos, and I'm going to do more of a story on that because he's by far one of the best paid advertising and marketers that I've ever met. So I figured if I reach out to him, he could be somebody who took over this seat. In that conversation, he already started in this AI space. So he was one of the early adopters to this. And what he said is, yes, Jeff, I like it, but I think this is something that AI is going to be able to help handle. It's going to be some sort of business in a box model. So both of our heads were in the exact same place, just thinking slightly different, which is extremely valuable. So what we started doing was we started breaking down these even more granularly. So it started to look like an organizational chart to an extent, where AI right now could help in certain areas and how we could essentially start leveraging these things. This was years ago and things have changed quite drastically. But again, in this video, I'm going to kind of break these things down. With this, what we started to understand is each one of these is an expertise within your business. It really is. And I'm going to kind of focus on the marketing agencies, because it's easier to digest with this, but it does work with any business. It really does. It can be somebody who helps with hiring. It could be a dog trainer. It doesn't really matter. It's the same thing when you break this down. Each one of these, to an extent, is part of your assembly line, which we talk about in other videos as well. This here are also verticals within your business. We talk about a lot with our clients, the difference between a vertical and a horizontal agent, which I'll talk about in other videos. But just to kind of keep this video moving forward, each one of these is a vertical within your business, an expertise within your business that can be extremely valuable to another business. It really can. You've got the expertise, you're doing the work, you're helping other people do these things. So if I could be the best marketer in the world and I could leverage AI technologies based on my vertical, I can do more output with less overhead, generate more money. The problem with this is everybody's trying to solve every single one at the exact same time. And this is why people never really get ahead. So what we like to do is looking at a business, what is something that you believe you're the best at? Typically, when you start out a business, you start with one thing. Whether, again, back to the marketing agencies, I am the best at email marketing. And then you add SMS and you add paid, then you add funnels and you add all of these things. And that's where you continue to add more verticals within your business that essentially fall into these departments. And this is getting a little bit more granular, but you're starting to kind of see the point here. So with the marketing, you've got email, you've got SMS, you've got all of these sub categories within a specific department, but AI can help with each one of these. And this is where you really start to gain some traction, because over time, each one of these is ran by AI. So as you're growing and as you're building this business in a box, and this is a part 1 of a part 2 video, because I'm going to show you how to create the ascension to this business model, which is going to be very, very valuable. It's going to be in future weeks throughout this month. But this is the foundation of the business in a box that you essentially want to go for. And it doesn't have to be a massive box. It can be a very small box, but just want you to understand is like you can create yourself as an extension or somebody who is fractional to a business without having to do all the work, but still giving them the expertise. So marketing agencies, great. We've got our organizational chart out, and each one of these are our expertises and our verticals within these departments. Okay, cool. So what we're doing is we're setting up AI for each one of these here along the way. Don't know why that did that. Each one of those along the way. As you continue to knock these off the list, one, you're continuing to create this assembly line, which we continue to talk about. But each one of these can become an extension to a business, especially when a marketing agency, not everybody wants the whole thing. They just want a piece of it. But the problem with the marketing agency or business in general is to add more revenue, add more services and more verticals. And that's when your profit actually starts to decrease because you're adding all the chaos in behind the scenes. But what if you could just give bits and pieces of these along the way. What this does for your business is you start generating revenue along individual verticals underneath individual verticals as your business starts to grow. Once you get people into your ecosystem, you can add more of these, which is essentially sinking your teeth more into their business in a very ethical way because you're driving results throughout their business. There's nothing worse for an agency or a business to be hired by somebody to help grow their business, and then in 6 months they delete you off the planet because they don't remember that you got them to where they are. I know this pain for agencies because we speak to them about it all the time, and it's one of the most frustrating things on the planet. And to me, it's super disrespectful. That's why I never really went down the agency space, and I was always in software. I just believed it was scalable. And then once you start working with businesses, you drive the results and people stay. And I think that's fair trade when it comes to running these businesses. This is how the most successful people on the planet, whether this is even a portfolio company, like you're an investor, you have these businesses underneath you. So as you continue to scale your businesses, let's say this is business 1, business 2, and then underneath you've got a marketing agency underneath. Well, this is just marketing agency, and this is a media company, and this is whatever it may be. You start to extend your overall ecosystem, but you have to map it from the top down and then work bottom up. Bottom up, bottom up, bottom up, because AI is not at a point where it's going to run your whole business automatically. It's just not going to do it. And it's going to be a while before that even remotely gets close. It's not moving as fast as people are thinking, but it is still moving extremely fast. So top down to map it all out, and then bottom up to get it set. You've got to follow the trajectory of how AI is being implemented into the markets, into our businesses. That's just what it needs to do. Modeling the most successful people in the world. How do they continue to do this? How do they continue to have success? Well, they've just mapped out their business, and over time, they've added more verticals throughout their whole ecosystem, which you have as well. You have that expertise. Some people might have one vertical, some people might have 10 verticals, but you have to start with one. Start with one and continue to extend. Because what you might also realize is I don't want 10 verticals anymore. I'm making so much money in 2 of these verticals, and it's creating better clients. I'm making more money, whatever it may be. I'm just going to focus on 2. You don't need as much services. You don't need to do as much for a business. And I do see and believe that this is going to be a big thing for businesses, just to remove that overwhelm, that frustration where you're making businesses so much money, but you're not getting that time back or even that appreciation for what you do. It's a organizational chart, but you work from the bottom up. I continue to talk about this foundational stuff in this past week, the getting your CEO aligned, getting your CEO and your operator aligned, having your team members understand these processes. But this is one of the last pieces, the foundation that you can focus on, because it's how your business is essentially set up. And when we work with businesses, we go through this in the early days for them to understand where there's organizational uplift and where the technology is just not there yet. For example, sales. There's some stuff that you could do for sales, but everybody's trying to add all these AI callers to generate 10x revenue in a short period of time, having AI callers call people, cold calling. And I mean, some people are having success with it, but it's just not going to be there forever. And at the end of the day, you don't really want to have AI callers collecting money over the phone. Same thing with marketing. Paid advertising. Would you want an AI caller to increase ad spend from $100 to $1,000 to $10,000 without any sort of quality assurance? Probably not. And that's where I go back into the previous video about looking at your bookends, building the processes, having the human in the loop to do the quality assurance for these verticals, because you've got the experts within your business. So now you're able to scale these things up with the people in there, building the whole ecosystem and continuing to become those extensions, not doing as much work. I know this is how businesses are successful because we continue to see it. We see campaigns where businesses are generating 5x ROAS, 30x ROAS. We helped a business generate $2 million in 10 days. These things are proven. We continue to do it for ourselves. That's why we went out and built Cloud 37. It was something that this was friction that we were running into. So we said, screw it. The only way that we're going to be able to grow this business is leveraging AI to help us scale these processes that I'm giving you so that you can do it yourself. It's literally the exact same thing. And people's like, well, what are your best case studies? You know what? I'm my best case study. I've built the software that helped me scale my own business, and I want to give you everything, all the keys to be able to do it yourself. To me, that is the best case study. I'm not an agency, but we do help people do this work. And that's why I'm so excited about this month and giving you all this content, because this is exactly how we are able to build our own business and help clients do the exact same thing. I've mapped this out 4 years ago with my business partner, Matt, like I was saying, and it just came from watching a simple show that we've all seen before, Shark Tank. That epiphany was there. Start looking at business from the right side of the floor. Step back, as I continue to say, to move forward. Go back to the basic to build. Small wins across the whole company is where you're going to see the biggest uplift on in the future, for 2026 and into the future. But don't map too far ahead. Have the vision, but don't map too far ahead, because the technologies are moving extremely fast. And this is why I'm going to continue to put out content. I'd love comment below on if you've mapped this out before, if you're seeing some success building out your verticals, where you've seen some friction in your business, so we can kind of continue the conversation. But this is where I'm going to wrap it up, because there's this part 2 of this is the foundation, but the part 2 is more of the ascension on how to get people into these verticals. And this is where we're starting to really see people print money with AI. It's becoming a money printing machine. And that's what we want at the end of the day. You've got the business model proven. It's just, how do we get people there and how do we scale it? And I'm going to continue to break that down throughout the month. So like I said in the beginning, for the month of February, I'm posting 196 plus pieces of unique content across my social media through an AI system that I've built. I'm really pumped about what I've built. It's continuing to be ironed out. But if you want early access to it, head over to my Instagram page, direct message me 196 to be one of the first to get access to the system. And to support, please like, subscribe here, share this with some of your team members, but go back to the basics, continue to build your foundation, review these videos from this week, because it's only going to set you up for success for the rest of the month and the more tactical stuff that I'm going to be going through. So we'll see you in the next video. And as always, stay dialed.